And you don't seem to understand. A shame you seemed an honest man, and all the fears you hold so dear.
Welcome to the last episode of season 1 of the Archivists. As usual, I am Saint,
I'm Rage.
and today we have many guests with us.
If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Oh my god, that is so difficult to do.
Dude, this hold on. I'm so bad
Is saying my name Buzak cringe? I feel like it's so
Right.
cringe.
How do you want to do this?
Hi, I'm X. Thank you, Saint.
That sounds like a robot.
Wait, shush. I'm gonna say it. Hello everyone. My name is Buzak. Wait. Hello everyone. My name is Buzak.
You, baby.
No, I'm Buzak.
Alright, here I'll go now. What's good? I'm Endless. I just post random shit on Instagram. And
Come on, Alice.
Hey, I'm Atlas. I run an Instagram page, Atlas Trading Co. You're listening to Archivists podcast, right? That's all I've got.
Yo, what's up? I'm Mumfords. I run a few different accounts where I just post whatever I find is interesting.
Okay, so now that everyone has introduced themselves, just to give the listeners a little insight into the episode, me and Rage are going to be reflecting on what we learned through the production of this project, overall process, to be honest, and share it with y'all. There's going to be conversations about what affects your creativity, the environment, stuff like that. But yeah, we can get started.
Yeah, we kind of wanted an episode where we shared what we learned from creating and maintaining this project, but also a more laid back episode where we can just sit and chat with some of our friends that we made throughout the process.
Yeah, it's just gonna be kind of a shorter episode, this last episode, but really compacted with a lot. But yeah, to start, me and Rage within the time limit of
2 or 3 minutes.
Let's do 2 minutes. See what you can come up with.
to make things interesting and stuff.
Just talk about all the things that you've learned about yourself, about me, any hard, soft skills, anything.
Okay. Time me, because I will go off on a tangent.
Hold on, I will. Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2. I'll give you a 30-second warning, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
So I guess what I've learned is it's really hard to work with people. At first I thought, if everyone works the way that I work, and then when I found out people don't do that, obviously that's a normal thing to realize, but I guess I was just slow at picking it up throughout all 20 years of my life. It actually benefits the process and the production a lot more when you're working with people who work with different work ethics or different perspectives and stuff. It's a lot your ideas can be a lot more enriched when you're working with these types of people who are different than you. 2, I absolutely hate Adobe programs, and I hate Premiere Pro, and I hate Audition.
Yeah. Also, if I don't know how to use Audition, but I don't know if do you actually edit the audio though itself? I'm not saying chop it up, but do you actually edit it?
Not really edit, but I do take a lot of time to edit an episode.
Yeah, do you adjust everything? All the gain and stuff?
Oh, okay. No, not editing like that. It's usually just cutting up the audio, making the transitions sound nice. Sometimes I'll lower the volume or something, but nothing crazy editing the gain or stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to ask. I use I don't know how to do it on Audition, and I think Audition's extremely complicated, but maybe cut up all your stuff on Audition, but download Audacity. It's free, and just look up a video or even download a preset for podcasting, because you can make the audio sound so much better since everyone in here that you have probably doesn't have like a good mic, and there's gonna always be background noise due to that. So
Yeah, we tried using Audacity. We actually just use like a different extension called Craig. I hate Craig so fucking much. But
Who's my man? Craig.
yeah, we'll use Craig and then something called Crisp. And Craig just records and Crisp kind of like takes out all the background noise. They're both free. They're both whatever. This sounds like we're promoting, or it's like a promotion for like these things. Don't use Craig. It sucks so much. But like if you have to, do use Craig.
There's 1 minute left. I don't think I'll ever want to use Discord again. What else? I've learned a lot from each and every guest who's guested on our podcast, and I'm very grateful for that. I've definitely like seen myself grow, not only as like a creative individual with her process or whatever, but like as a person, and really start to take things seriously. Even sometimes it might be too seriously. And I don't know, I'm just ready to move on from Archive.
Not like there isn't good things about Archive, but I'm just ready to go.
I believe that having an archive page is pretty epic because it allows you to express different views and shit, and it allows you to connect to people like Saint Central, the GOAT.
Let's fucking go.
That's the cheesiest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Whoa. This is going on the podcast, bro. Relax.
That was funny.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I realized and all.
That's pretty good.
I mean, there's also things that, like, I'd like to change as well. Or, I can say we want to change as well. But, Rage, I feel like you can explain this better than I can.
So there are time myself before I answer. Let's do that. Okay. So there are a couple things that I would like to change. One of them would be the platforms that we use to record and edit. I just feel like they're not very user friendly, and they're for more experience people with way more experience, because they're super super specific, and there are just way too many things to edit that it just becomes super overwhelming. So going forward, both of us are definitely gonna just any future editing pertaining to Central, we want to switch to like more user friendly quote unquote amateur platforms. The other thing that I would like to change is the I guess the structure and organization. We had structure and we had organization, but I think definitely be improved upon. And I've noticed we have a lot to learn, like when it comes to podcasting and just projects in general. So definitely change the structure and the organization. What else? I guess standardizing a lot of our processes so that it's consistent with everything. And I think that's where the organization come in and kind of help us, like to standardize how we reach out to people, how we recruit people, how we find people, just make everything consistent so that we spend a lot of time doing it in the beginning, and then we don't have to spend much time figuring that out going forward. Um Overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out for us both being like first timers when it comes to this stuff. So I think we did a great job. But again, we just have so much to learn, and I just want both of us to be open to trying new things when it comes to projects. Yeah, my time's just about done, so
Yeah. And that goes like with any like creative project, not just like making a podcast or something. When you work with like anyone, you're gonna have to. I wish we like allotted for some time, voice crack, allotted for some time where like we understood that it was gonna take some time for us to adapt to each other's like work ethic and like creative perspective, and like where we actually like what our part is, because it can be like 50-50. It's just like the 50-50 I was imagining is different than the 50-50 of the reality. And I think like the more like we go into this project, the closer we are to finding like efficient way of working with each other.
See, that's another thing. We kind of work in different ways. So I don't know. This is just something to add on that to what Saint said earlier. The first question I asked her is like what she learned. We both learned that how each other kind of work with each other. I think that's really important to build like a strong foundation so that going forward we know how to work together in the best way.
Yeah. It was a good answer. It was a very good answer. It really compiled everything into one, which is impressive. Because I was trying to think of an answer while you were answering, and like in my head, I would have gone way too deep into things.
Okay, Saint, I let me ask you a question. What do you think has been your what okay, no, what are you most excited about for the future of Central? Just the future our like just the future of your creative endeavors. What are you most excited about? I'm gonna set the timer. 1, 2, 3, go.
Honestly, the community. I really want to foster like a place where I'm working with other people, and it's not like it's a pyramid where it's just like everyone's on the same level and we're just working with each other in like different projects. And that's kind of what I want to foster, like a well knit community. And it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money, and like I'm willing to do all of that. But I don't know, I've just been like really grateful for all the people who've helped along the way, even if it's just like someone listening to an episode or just even watching a trailer. Like I'm very grateful for that because I know that my efforts are being realized. And I'm just excited to create. That's it. That's kind of it.
I mean, also, like, okay, so it's unrelated to, like, the question you just asked. It's related to the answer I just answered. But I also want to bring light to, like, the creative process in a way. I don't know, just, like, throughout this whole project, I kind of got to know, like, what my creative process is a lot better, especially in, like, a medium that I didn't know what I was doing at first, and there were times where like I didn't want to do it compared to like painting where it's like I just do it when I wanted to do it, and there was like there was a process, but it wasn't like too well thought out. I don't know. We kind of explained like this more in like the episode we had with like Unavailable as a guest.
For me, when I'm creating, whether it's writing, designing clothes, graphic design, whatever it is, I have this. I don't know if it's ADHD or OCD, whatever it is, but I have this innate like need to multitask at all times, even if the second task that I'm doing isn't productive. I just can't focus on one thing at once. So, when I'm designing clothes, for example, I'll usually have like either music or some form of media. So like a video, a movie, show, podcast, whatever it is. And it's not only just to like keep myself like extra entertained because like that I'm doing two things at once, but it's also to inspire me. Like a lot of the pieces that I've designed end up taking heavy inspiration from like a movie that I'm watching while designing that piece. So like for example, uh, I made a piece a long time ago, and it was a Fight Club shirt, and I watched Fight Club while making the design for that shirt and kind of helping conceptualize the collection I was working on at the time. And then with writing on Instagram, uh, I usually won't listen to or watch anything, but I'll have uh, some form of like an instrumental. Like, not gonna lie, I was listening to the Oppenheimer soundtrack the other day while doing a post. Uh, and sometimes I'll throw on like just instrumental. It's usually instrumentals, but if I'm searching for photos, which usually takes the biggest chunk of time, I'll listen to whatever. It doesn't require like my full focus.
I usually, I was just thinking about it as you were talking, but what is really important for me is the space I'm working in. When I mean, I'm still in university. I just finished my first year of university, and we have like a studio that is just occupied by certain amount of students where we work in, and I found myself in this space like working really well. So I've learned to, or I train my brain to, when I step into that space or into that studio, to actually just click in and be ready to work. And that's one important thing for me is like the space I'm creating in, and what plays a role that is probably as big as the space is music. I usually always listen to music. I don't watch like shows or anything. I just listen to music and I'm inspired by the music I'm listening to. For example, I don't want to spoil too much because I hate like talking about stuff that hasn't happened yet. But I'm currently working on a Opium post, like the Playboy Cardi Collective and label, and it's going to be a collaboration with someone else. And
So the post Axe is talking about actually got posted with Scimitar. One second, Samutaro. And then about a week ago, and then it got reposted on Hidden's page. So congratulations. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Back to the program.
the cool thing about it is I was aware of like the Opium Collective and everything, but just as I started listening to the music they were making, I kind of got to understand the aesthetic they're chasing. Because sometimes, even though I've been liking Cardi for a couple of years now, I've sometimes been questioning where their aesthetics come from, and what really makes it the way it is. And through listening to the music, I got to understand why it's that, and I got to actually figure out for myself how to use their design approach and their sound of music to implement them into my own designs and videography I'm making, just for an example.
Yeah, it's definitely your environment and like another factor is also the community you're in. Well, I guess both are the same because your environment also includes like the people you're surrounding yourself with, and not just like what you're doing. I don't know how to explain it that well, but you get the gist.
I think creatively, it depends on the people I surround myself with. I think there will be times, if anyone has ever brought themselves to a point of change, whether it's they stopped drinking, they started going to the gym, they started to improve themselves in any way. Most people who have gone through that will know exactly what I'm talking about when they say they probably have had friends that say, "Hey, man, where have you been? You switched up. Where did you go? You left us behind." And I think it's important to move on when you change. That being said, I've grown very close with the people I've met along the way. And if we continue creatively, if we don't, these will always be people that I regard as friends, people I am close to. I deeply admire the way they think, the way they treat me, and I respect their opinions and their own creative process. And whether our own directions change, I think in my heart, I will still be at touch with them. I just can't say the same for if we will continue to create together 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think your environment definitely uh influences whatever it is you're doing heavily. Like not only your life, like if you look at it from a further out, like a zoomed out perspective, uh but if you nail it down to just like creative endeavors, it definitely inspires like what you're creating in that moment. That's why um that's why a lot of great artists create the best work when they're going through something like bad in their life, because that environment usually can be turned into some form of creative expression that ends up being better than maybe a painting that was made when they were in a sound state of mind. At least that's the way I view it. So I personally created some of my best stuff when I've been going through something.
No, I 100% agree with what you said there. Having like a creative outlet, especially when you're like going through stuff that's like when you're going through stuff that's like when you make the best work. And I think that's when you're like not necessarily like consistent, but like more when there I feel like when there's more like chaos within, you're able to create something really, really beautiful. And I think people realize that and they appreciate that, not just like other artists, but also like the audience. And I think it's a really big thing in especially like the fashion world, not just like in the creative world in a whole, but like especially in the fashion world.
Something that I want to get into eventually.
Oh, really? I love fashion. That's amazing.
Mostly learning about fashion.
Do you know Fashionary, like the website Fashionary? They have like the most aesthetic and like enriched books. Like it's just filled with like knowledge on every page. Or like the whole book itself is so beautiful. I have like 2 of their books and I've read them twice already, even though there's not much to read. But they're really good. They're a really good resource.
I will say that is one hot take that I really have is I hate how expensive art books are. So Cause was doing an art show in New York City at the Brooklyn Museum. This was years ago, at the Brooklyn Museum. And I had a plan to go with my girlfriend at the time to see it. Well, plans got canceled. We couldn't go. So it's like, all right, I'll just order the art book. $90 plus $15 shipping for a book. I was like, all right, that's fair enough. But I own 13 art books now, different sizes and from different publishers. They're not cheap. They're very expensive.
No, you're like 100% right about that, Atlas. Shit, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Let me backtrack. Ray just asked me a question about what I was excited for. And then I mentioned some stuff.
Nothing. You're not excited for anything else?
I'm excited for the website that's gonna come out for Central soon.
No, absolutely. I completely agree.
And the news will be announcing pretty soon. Yes. Atlas knows about it a little.
No, I don't. What are you talking? Maybe.
Maybe. But we'll keep it a little secret for now. We'll probably explain it in season 2, coming soon. Not that soon though, cause me and Rage kind of need a break, and we started school. Yeah, I mean like after the release of this episode, me and Rage and the rest of the crew, including Buzerk and almost that wave, those are the people who have helped us like behind the scenes and stuff with production. We just want to take like a nice break because things have been busy for all of us, I think, and we also want to get prepared for season 2. And then we have some other things that we're planning as well, other than just the website. So I don't know, it just feels like, personally, I don't know about the rest of the people that I just mentioned. Personally, it just feels like it's just more stressful than fun. So I think having like a break and resetting is important, which goes for like any creative kind of thing. Anyway, I'm rambling, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a difficult subject because it's like, I don't know, because art, it shouldn't really feel like work. Like, you shouldn't force yourself to just sit down and start creating. I mean, maybe the action of actually sitting down and doing it is good for the process,
Yeah,
but
that's true. That's true.
if like you come home from a long day of work and you just don't have anything in you that wants to create, then I feel like that kind of raises the question, like, should you really create? So, I don't know.
yeah, you have a point. I mean, I think it's just important to take breaks. It doesn't mean like you should stop the creativity, because like within creativity, within anything, honestly, if you want to like be successful and fully utilize like the benefits of like what you're doing and like build kind of a future, it kind of needs some discipline, and you kind of need to override that feeling of like, do I want to create, if that makes sense. I don't know if it applies to all things, but like that's just what's going through my head right now.
I think I utilizing this podcast and the fact that I have an archive page, I know I don't post on there anymore, but utilizing these connections and stuff to build a future for myself is, I guess, how I'm doing it. And I've had so many passions since I was a kid, and it's so funny how none of them were really creative until way later.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Really? I'm kind of the opposite, because like everything I used to do as a kid, like I still do now, but like it's more concentrated, especially like the creative stuff. Like I'm really influenced by like my childhood, which is a normal thing, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say that most of the things that I'm passionate about come from when I was a kid. Things I noticed, things that people taught me. I think Virgil Abloh said it best. Everything I do is for the 17-year-old version of myself. I just want to. You ever hear those questions where people are like, "Oh, what if you met yourself in the future, or went back in the past and met kid you?" If I went back in the past, I'd want to impress myself. I want to be someone that I could look up to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I also want to do the same thing. I feel like that's a really good motivator for most people, you know. You want to let your younger self down, and I think that keeping that version of yourself, or I guess the version of yourself where you were at your lowest, keeping that in mind helps you go forward and like keep a positive mindset, you know. I think that that's important.
I think you explained it pretty good. It's like it all starts with a hunger for something. Like if I was to answer that question of why I want to secure a place in the creative community for myself, because that's what my hunger is for. Not just to create, like obviously, but the bigger one is for like securing a place in the creative community for me. And it's because I felt the most welcomed, the most understood, and it pushed me to be more efficient. And I know that if I stay and have like a permanent place in a community where people are constantly creating, where it's a community that's constantly changing, I know that I'll be able to achieve big things. It's just I need to get there.
Sorry, they were fighting. But I I don't I don't know. It's harder for me to answer this question because I haven't had my heart set on creative things until relatively recently, because I've felt like the way that you can express yourself creatively is different than any other. Like there's no match for it really. So seeing people express themselves and me being able to express myself, something that I value because I like feeling understood. I think everyone does, right? So I guess to impress the younger version of myself, I've just been moving forward despite everything that's happened. And I think that that's something younger self would be proud of, to know that everything got a lot better, you know? That got deep really quick.
Yeah. Damn. I I wish we could continue the conversation and everything, but I do think that this is towards the end of the episode. Thank you for everyone who joined.
Excuse me, what?
Huh? What?
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 What? What are you? I'm trying to end the episode.
Who are you wanting?
I don't know, I'm wanting you guys.
You guys.
Sorry.
Sorry. Um
Yeah, thank you, Mumford, for being our ad-libs guy and only speaking every like once every 2 minutes.
Bro, I was on bashful, bro. I was on my bashful shit.
Bashful. Bashful.
Hey, yo.
Okay, well, now I can end the episode. Thank you guys for coming in, and having this conversation with us, like basically hearing us reflect out our thoughts and everything. We really appreciate you guys taking some time. Thank you guys for listening to season 1 as well. We'll see you guys again in season 2. Stay up to date on all the big news for Central, not just the Archivists. But yeah, thank you everyone. Have a great, wonderful day.
All right, I'm out of here. Have a good one, guys.
Stay safe out there.
You guys have a good one, all right?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
And Bew, can you sing just cue the music,
And you don't seem to understand.